Something I was not expecting on my 2024 bingo card, and that is a return from Fantastic. Yes, you know who I mean, the developers behind The Day Before. Today they put out a little bit of a statement, and it has a worrying ending, but basically the gist of it is, it's our fault. The YouTubers that covered the game are the reason it is ruined. The game is ruined because of the YouTubers, the bloggers, and, oh yeah, the players. So the people that were hyped for your game and supported you for almost 3 years, it is their fault. This is an interesting one. So today they posted this to their socials. Recently, a lot of misinformation has emerged on the internet from supposedly anonymous sources. Fantastic will provide an official response to these statements. Now, the statements are basically the inner workings of Fantastic, how shitty it was, and it was pretty much a scam with it was a Russian company with a base in Korea or something along those lines. It's all all over the place. Once again, there are many videos going very, very detailed into the actual ins and outs of what happened and how the company was structured. And it was structured in a very shady way, in a nutshell. And everything on the inside was also very shady. And these two brothers that ran Fantastic run it like their own sort of playground. And they force people to do things, they make people stay long hours, and then reap all of the rewards from their hard work. Well, sometimes. So this is the statement that they put out. Recently, a lot of misinformation has emerged on the internet from supposedly anonymous sources. Fantastic provides an official response to these statements. The anonymous people allege that we deceived players. We worked hard and honestly on the game for 5 years. We didn't take a penny from users, didn't use crowdfunding, and didn't even offer pre-orders. Even after the game was closed, we together with the publisher returned the money to all of you players, including forcibly issuing refunds to those who did not request them. How many companies return money like that? We are not a fly-by-night company. We have been operating since 2015 and have always conducted our business honestly. If you consider conducting your business honestly by misleading players with an extremely dodgy, an extremely amazing trailer and then an extremely dodgy game, then yeah, honestly, that's honest, clearly. But no, it was not honest. They deceived everybody and they lied to everybody. Whether they made money on it or not, that doesn't matter. They still lied to everybody and they still tried to throw something down our throats that was dog shit and tell us that it was honey, which is not good. Also, anonymous people allege that we have deceived the investor. This is not true. We still have a great relationship with our publisher. The closure of The Day Before did not affect our partnership, and since 2021, we've had a New Zealand venture called Mytona Fantastic and a successful game, Prop Night, which has sold almost 1 million copies. Prop Night also co-financed the development of The Day Before. Anonymous former employees tell different stories about our development. We're unsure whether these employees are real or not, but we had excellent relationships with our team. Despite being a small indie company with a limited budget, we assisted employees with relocation and healthcare and helped some of them buy equipment with their mortgages and other personal matters. We offered an extra non-working day off each month, vacation pay and timely salary payments, along with the option of working remotely. Our low churn rate and the fact that half of those who left returned to the company demonstrate our positive work environment. 100% of the team did everything they could to make The Day Before a success. So yes, you may have had a very, very select handful of employees that you paid and were pretty much on the brothers team, but the majority of people that were working for these guys were actually volunteers, so they received no payment for this. They received nothing for working on the game. Who made money on The Day Before? Certain bloggers made huge money by creating false content with huge titles from the beginning to gain views and followers. Exploiting the lack of information about the game's development, their actions triggered a gold rush among content creators to the game's pre-release popularity. And yes, that is true. There are a lot of YouTubers and content creators that made a hell of a load of money through The Day Before content. And that is because they covered the game honestly. People covered it from what they saw. We could only go off what the developers showed us and what the trailers showed us. And those trailers showed us a lot of asset flips, a lot of stolen things from other games, which it was all evidently there, and there are a lot of videos and evidence out there to back that up. People did make money on the game, yes, because they covered it, because they were excited for a prospect of what you guys were offering. And what they were offering was just a complete lie. What do they suggest that the release game is not the same as in the trailers, and why was the game closed? Now this is where it gets quite funny. We implemented everything shown in the trailers, from home improvements and a detailed world to off-road vehicles. We only disabled a few minor features like parkour due to bugs, but plan to include them in the full release. You also didn't include anything along the lines of vaulting, melee, so basic things that should have been in a game like this. They also didn't disclose the fact that it was actually a looter-shooter, basically a raid version, so similar to what Tarkov is. An arena-type shooter game where you go in, you get loot, and you get out. It was meant to be a survival MMO. What part of survival MMO do you go into a tiny arena, get very, very amounts of finite resources, and then come away and then start to build stuff? I've not played a MMO like that. There's also the whole issue of these things. Yes, some of them were implemented, but they were implemented very poorly and did not do the game any good at all. And then here we have this bit, basically once again blaming the players. Remember the experiment where you asked to count pink objects in a room and then recall the blue ones? You won't remember any. It's all about focus, the negative bias instilled by certain bloggers making money on hate-affected perceptions of the game. Look at unbiased gameplay like Dr. Disrespect's stream at release. Despite the initial bugs and server issues, he liked the game, which we fixed later, and the game received improved reviews over the weekend. Unfortunately, the hate campaign had already inflicted significant damage, and that is because you lied to people. It inflicted significant damage because the game was actually, and could have actually been quite good. If you were honest from the start and you didn't say it was an MMO, if you said it was a raid-style zombie looter-shooter game, then you would have got a lot more people playing the game and enjoying it, and you probably wouldn't have had to shut down or refund anyone. By the way, after sales closed, many people wrote to us that bloggers had deceived them and they liked the game, and they asked for access. We also heard petitions were created to continue development, and on the black market, the game's price exceeded $200, and some even began to make their own mods. Which, yes, that is correct. Keys were going for way more than $200, some of them were going up to $400, $500 on black market sites. And then also, there are a lot of people that wanted to continue the game, and that is good. It could have been a good game if you hadn't had lied from the start. And that will bring me to a video that I'm going to do in a few days' time, because there is someone out there called The Day Before Reborn, which I've been looking at recently, and they want cooperation from Fantastic, because it seems like what they've done so far is pretty much make the game themselves, and it looks really, really good. There were a few people on Twitter that were trying to recreate the game and the trailers in just a matter of weeks, just to show how much of a lie that the whole development cycle from the team was. And it seems to be that a lot of people have made some really cool progress and really cool games with it. But we'll go over that in a separate video in a few days' time. And then finally, the worrying bit. We are grateful to all the senders of mails who expressed support and appealed not to give up and continue work. Finally, we encourage you to subscribe to our social networks to know what will happen next. It's funny that, because they said Fantastic was liquidated and the company was shut down. So, surely nothing will be happening next. It seems like they're not taking this as a loss and they're moving on. And with their reputation, yes, they've got a shit one, but people can see them. Almost 500,000 people have seen this statement. And it was produced just 12 hours before this video was recorded. So just 13 hours before this video was released. So that's a lot of time. That's a lot of eyeballs in 13 hours. There are many people that would love that many eyeballs. I am one of them. I would love 500,000 viewers in 13 hours. That would be amazing. Please, like, subscribe, share, drop a like on the video. For now, I've been Wired, you've been awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll leave that there.